Hello, everyone. This is Whoever Holds the Stone. I'm Paula. This is Richard. And I'm here with my son, Tom, on drums. And Celeste Lawson said she was going to join us later, so she'll just be popping in at any moment. Richard and I were talking about...
By the way, on the last podcast,
yeah?
somebody brought a stone to the podcast.
Ah.
Now, it was somebody who was here for the first time.
Uh-huh.
And they didn't even know that was there. And they said, I have this stone as a souvenir. And they talked about where they were when they got the stone and how they've carried it around ever since. I said, well, look at that.
Yeah. So which
similar,
which
too.
podcast was it?
I think it was the Peace Center.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Richard and I were talking about, I was telling him again that I am rereading the Bible for the fourth time. I am not a religious person. I'm reading it as a document, a historical document that, even though it's not completely historical, it does show the mindset of a people over 2,000 to 3,000 years ago in the Old Testament, So I find it fascinating. And I was talking and I said, this God, this Old Testament God, apparently Moses was able to see this God. And when the people were getting restless, Moses set up a meeting where God was on the top of the mountain and there was a fire, and out of the fire came a voice. So they were able to grasp that this was a real thing. And all the other people in the area, that they're killing all these people off because God told them they could have this land and it was theirs and they could just kill the people, which I think is atrocious. And so the other people are very curious because they don't have a God who has a presence, an actual being that's within them, is in their purview. So they're very curious about this God, and they want to know. Then they're thinking, this is a very powerful God because the God is actually with them, in the Ark of the Covenant. They carry it around from place to place, and then I don't know how he gets to the top of the mountain, but whatever. But I was just saying that this God is a big jerk, and so Richard was adding there's a Gnostic.
Yeah.
The Gnostic part. So start with that.
So the Gnostics, they were a branch of Judaism who had their own ideas as to what was going on. And they thought that the entire universe was governed by a God, but it was way too big to handle. So there were smaller gods put in charge of each quadrant. And the God put in charge of the earth quadrant was the dumbest and less virtuous of all the gods.
I love that.
And they saw plenty of evidence that this God was not either that bright and also very self-centered. The Ten Commandments, first one.
Yeah.
I'm the only one, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
I'm the only one. Not even that there's a God above me.
Right. Oh, that's true.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, because that's the God that made the commandments, was this asshole God that's on the earth.
So the Gnostics, they would pray directly to the top and ask for intervention. Because they said, this God in this quadrant is just making a mess of things and is definitely not virtuous. Remember Abraham, go kill your son?
Yeah.
To prove that you care about me?
Yeah, this guy's a jerk.
The God is in charge of the universe, that I will, but I'm not going to make a big show of it. I'm going to kind of do it so I have plausible deniability.
Right.
So the Gnostics said, well, you can see how the main God is inserting himself in human affairs. Remember the Adam and Eve story?
Yes.
The snake.
Yes. Oh, the snake was
the talking snake was the master God.
Was the God. It wasn't
saying,
it wasn't Satan.
Don't listen to this jerk.
Was the jerky God equivalent to Satan?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No, the master God is telling Adam and Eve, essentially, why do you think this little test was given to you? It was given to you because the master God does not want you to know as much as I'm sorry, that the
quadrant God.
quadrant God does
Yeah.
not want you to know as much.
Yeah.
And it is your duty to try to find out what everything is about. Don't rely on this idiot who's ruling you.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. A way different take. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm enjoying. It's hard to read. The Bible's hard to read. It's not an easy read, but I'm getting so much out of it now. I'm finding things that I didn't find when I read it last time, which was about 20 years ago, and I'm wanting to think about these things because this is the book that this large portion of the world. I mean, the Jews, the Christians, the Muslims, they're all following this book that is really a book. It's a horror story about this horrible being that is just, he's telling the people to kill the people that just go and kill them. I'm giving you the land. It's my land that I'm giving to you, so you can just kill those people. And that, I mean, is that what we want to follow? That sounds like a dictator or a tyrant. You know, that's not the God I would like to follow. You know, and Jesus kind of changed things around, but you know, we still have that old part of the theology that we go to. I'm not a believer. It's fun to read though. Yeah. So you were in the seminary, and like, what was the first thing that struck you that you said, wait a minute?
There's cracks in this.
Yeah.
When in a religion class, the priest told us, he was teaching the class, the myth. He said the words, "the myth of Adam and Eve."
Oh.
And almost the whole class shouted out at once, "The myth? What do you mean a myth?" And he started
Is he
laughing.
a Jesuit?
No, a Franciscan.
Oh, okay.
He started laughing and he said, "You really thought that story was real?" He said, "It's all symbolism. It's got nothing to do with reality."
And it comes from, you know, more ancient writings than the Bible.
And then and then a little light bulb went off over my head, which said, well, if that's a story, what else is a story? And I started down the road of skepticism.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think what happened with me was I had gotten married in the Catholic Church when I was 19. And I got divorced not long afterwards. And I was no longer welcome. And they sent me a letter.
Oh, you actually got a letter?
I got a letter saying that I am welcome to come to Mass, but I can't partake of the sacraments. And up to that point, I was pretty much a churchgoer, and I didn't really question anything. I just did that stuff because I was trained that way. And then, so I said, okay, you don't want me? I'm not coming. That's fine. I met Kenny, and Kenny was Jewish, and he started telling me all these horror stories about the pogroms and all this stuff. He really educated me. And he told me, you know, I knew about the Holocaust, but he told me other things that have happened to the Jews over time, and you know, that Jesus was a Jew, and that this was, you know, and he told me some stuff that made me start thinking, and I started doing some research. And then, a few years later, my ex-husband asked me if I would agree to an annulment. And I said, sure. I'm not, you know, I can't pay for it. Hi, Celeste. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Hello.
So when I agreed to the annulment, I thought I was going to talk to priests or talk to a bunch of people, and all I had to do was write a letter and explain why we got married, which is I was pregnant. So they sent me another letter after the annulment went through, after he paid them $1,500 or whatever the price was at that time, welcoming me back.
Really?
Yeah. And so I wanted to talk to a priest really bad, and I found it, and when I went to Buffalo and I found this priest, and I started talking to him. I had so many questions. Like, how can you believe this? How can you believe that? And the priest was such a simple man, and a really like joyful, simple man. I couldn't do it. I couldn't burst his bubble. You know, I know he must have thought about this stuff, but he was not he had faith. I didn't have faith anymore. You can't get it back once you lose it. I don't think. What do you think? Do you think you can get faith back once you lose it, Celeste?
Actually, I do, because there may be a turning point somewhere in your life that you say, you know what, this was an intervention, an interruption, or a direction that was beyond me.
Yeah.
And it's helpful.
Yeah, I
Almost like second chances.
I
right?
I don't disbelieve that there's some kind of connective tissue and something's, you know, there. Something could be there. But I don't believe in the God of my childhood, which is the God that was painted on the ceiling of my church.
Oh, the one with the eyes that follows you around the room,
And the
all
one
the Infinite Prague statues everywhere.
with the white hair and that I don't believe in.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that one. But I believe
no,
in the
that sounds like my
interconnected
grandmother
tissue.
on my father's side.
Spirit. I even hesitate to call it spiritual. I just think there's some kind of energy that's there that's holding us all in place.
Yeah.
So
What did you think of the God who was painted on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel?
the one with Adam, yeah.
What is that God doing exactly?
He is giving him life.
Oh, he's giving
Yeah.
him life. That's what I
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
That's the touch of life.
But Adam is also reaching out. So Adam is alive enough to reach out with his hand. He's not.
Well, I mean, it's
not in a coma.
It is the soul.
Oh, it's the soul.
He's imbuing him with the soul. That's what I think. I don't know. Do you have any other?
Yeah. What's
thoughts?
your interpretation of that painting?
Well, I think about it as, you know, that's his image, right? The Christian Bible says Adam was created in his image, and he's a reflection. So what really he was giving him his life, and that touch was responding back, indicating their connection as reflections of Adam being man and man being in God's image. And
Well-
so God is giving him that energy, and he's accepting it
Yeah. The thing.
based on that story.
The thing I remember years ago, I was taking a class at the Himalayan Institute called The Art of Joyful Living. And it was a really cool class. And I was reading the Bible at the same time. I think that was the last time I read it. And as I'm reading it, there's a line in the book, The Art of Joyful Living, that says, there is no difference between the painter and the painting. Which means that this thing that you create is part of who you are. It's an extension of you. And so then, of course, I'm reading the Bible, so I extrapolate and I said, well, that means that there is no difference between the God and the created. And it kind of blew my mind at the time, because I thought, okay, and we are creators. So we are I was still in a God period. So we are creators like God is a creator. And therefore, there is no difference between the painter and the painting. If you take the step up, there's no difference between God and who God has created.
I like that quote, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I love that. I love that quote. It was the guy who wrote that book. I don't remember what his name was. He was a yogi.
That would be a good quote to throw back at Bob Dylan, because after he got famous, every interview he did, he would say, when they asked about all the people who follow him, the fans, they would write him letters, and he'd say, in these letters, they think they know me, but they do not know me. They just know my songs.
Oh,
Well, Bob, come on.
I don't know.
There's no difference between the song and the songwriter.
Virginia Woolf wrote this amazing essay about walking through the streets of someplace or another. I can't remember where because I don't have the capacity to remember like that. But when I finished reading that essay, I knew Virginia Woolf. It was an essay, so it was nonfiction. And I knew about how she thought, the reasons why she thought that way. It was so eloquent and it was so beautifully written that she bared her mind open to whoever would read it. And that's when I started thinking about how you occupy the mind of the reader when you write. You are there. Your words and your thoughts are filling their mind, and it's jumbling up with the rest of the stuff that's in there already, and it's creating a part of who you are. So every time you read something, you're taking away something that becomes a part of you. Mm-hmm. And that's powerful stuff. Mm-hmm. That really is. Anyway.
Well, it may depend on whether or not I think whether it's genuine or not. Some writing, and Dylan might be part of that. I don't know. But it's like people writing about songs and stories that they have no experience with, and they're imagining it. And it could be inaccurate.
Doesn't it still have to come from your worldview and the way you think? Mm-hmm. Doesn't it? I don't know. I can't imagine, I guess because I'm not a fiction writer, I can't imagine ever writing anything that doesn't reveal some part of me in that writing.
Well, it might reveal some part of you, but it might not be an accurate reflection of you. It could be, let's use Michelangelo as an example.
Okay.
He was commissioned to do these works. And anytime that he went astray from what the Pope or the Chancellor or the Bishop or whoever was his patron for that part, whenever he went astray from that, he had to go back and change it.
That's right.
So
right.
He was painting at the direction of a patron. And so when he was unhappy with something or thought he couldn't get away with something, he would try, but then he would be reeled back in. So there may be moments in time where he snuck this in or snuck that in.
Yeah.
Right?
So there are clues underneath the corporate structure there. Yeah.
That's true in the Soviet Union as well. Same thing.
Yeah. So, I guess the part of him that was in there would be the part of rebellion, but it wouldn't be the great masterpiece because that was purely at somebody else's direction based on the patron's belief that he had the skill to accurately depict the image that he wanted to have at the chapel.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have never seen it live because I've never been there, but I've seen representations of it. But it must be breathtaking when you're actually there and looking up and seeing this painting on the ceiling. He had to lay on his back for a long time.
Yes.
That was not comfortable.
No. He was masterful in so many different ways. In terms of his appreciation of the human body, right? Taking cadavers and taking them apart to understand the structure.
That fascinates me, because he was able to get that human feeling that into the flesh, whereas before that it really wasn't a thing.
Yeah,
it was more like wooden.
Yeah. So I would say like his sculptures were probably more reflective of who he was as an artist as opposed to the paintings, because there would be a limit to how much direction you can give a piece of marble.
Right. Yeah. That was a time when the paintings were a byproduct of the society. Now artists are free to paint what they want. So maybe now you can see more of the artist. And I hesitate to talk about my son-in-law, but he's a painter, and he wasn't doing a lot of painting. And now that he and my daughter are getting separated, divorced. I've seen his work, and I'm really fascinated by it because all of the work looks like clenched fists. Very angry, but it's really good. It's really powerful, and it has a lot of emotion in it. And I mean, I really don't speak with him, but I think that it's worth showing. I think it's really powerful.
Well, do you know the Diego Rivera
Yes,
story?
I don't know. Well, I don't. Maybe part of it.
When Rockefeller Center was built, John D. Rockefeller asked, well, who's the most famous painter who could paint on a giant wall? And they said that would be Diego Rivera from Mexico. And he contacted him, and Rivera said, well, I'll do it, but you can't tell me what to paint. And I'm not even going to give you a hint as to what I'm going to paint. I'm just going to do it, and then you either like it or don't. So he spent months doing it, and then John D. Rockefeller looked at it, and he said, well, here's your money. Okay, guys, tear it down.
Wow.
That's how much he disliked it.
Are there any?
Thankfully, Rivera said, well, let me bring in some photographers.
Oh, okay.
So they
Yes,
photographed,
yeah.
and that's all that's left now is the photographs of the mural. And,
Well, so when
what
you have money,
Rockefeller
you
didn't
can do
like,
that.
Yeah.
what he didn't like is there's a lot of references to the overthrow of the ruling class.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm sure there were references to the inequality.
Yes.
You know, it was during a time when, I mean, it's like now, but
Yeah.
yeah. So but I think that we've come so far away from that patron class of the Middle Ages that, I mean, some artists will paint you a pink painting to go over your pink couch. Yeah, is that an artist though, or is that a technician? It's a craftsman.
Well, do you know about the painter Mark Kostabi?
I don't think I've ever heard that name.
He said, I'm going to be a different painter in the history of art. I'm not going to paint what I want, but I'm going to form a committee. And the committee is going to decide, what I should paint. So he hired all these people who knew what the public wanted.
Really?
And then they would tell him, okay, your next painting will be about, say, riding on a subway. Well, interestingly enough, after he painted it, the committee voted if it's worthy of being called a Kostabi.
Even though
So there were paintings that he painted that had to be destroyed
Wow.
because the
Wow.
committee voted against it.
that's a weird way to run your life. Hi, Mick. I see that you are here. Hello.
Oh, Mick, I will get back to you about that auto accident report. He asked for my opinion on it
Oh, okay.
because he was in a car accident.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope you're okay. Yeah. So what I did today, I was telling Richard I had like a week of I had pain from a medication they put me on, and then I had pain because I overstretched after I got off the medication because I was feeling better and I wanted to do my stretching, and then I hurt myself. So I've had like a complete, like a blank week.
Let's ask our engineer, Mr. Engineer. See if you can find a painting by Mark, Kastabi, Mark Kostabi.
I have one. Do you want to? Can you?
It'll be better if
no,
the people won't be able to see
the
it.
light.
Yeah. So we can.
So when he gets
we'll
that,
pull
he'll
it up.
put it up.
So
Yeah.
what would be the purpose? Do you think he just didn't have ideas of his own?
Well, that's an interesting point. Like, obviously, he knew by making his career this way, he'd get a lot of publicity.
That's true.
So all these news people were always talking to him, at galleries, etc.
Yes.
Did he do that because that was the level of his creativity?
Well, because there's some people who can paint beautifully, but they lack ideas.
Yeah.
And there's some people who have lots and lots of great ideas, but their technique is not so hot.
Yeah.
So who's the better artist? What is that? What's art? Is it technique or is it ideas?
Execution.
Execution.
Yeah. Is it execution
well,
or idea?
We had to be really careful with that, because when you now go think about the pure abstraction artists who did a square of yellow and just a square of yellow,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But somehow maybe it's ombre, maybe it's gradient, maybe it had, you know,
I know house
I don't-
painters who can do that.
and that's what they'll say. But the artist, whoever created, they will say, "No, you didn't understand how I did whatever I did to this yellow square."
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, when you think about Salvador Dali,
Oh,
Yeah.
this looks like
That's Mark Costabi.
this looks like Leger.
Yeah.
The Leger has he did a lot of stuff during the industrial paintings, and his people, his Leger.
Ligier.
You got to talk. You got to tell him you're talking
Tom,
about.
Leger. There's paintings that look similar to this that he painted. It's cold. Don't you think this is cold?
Well, question is, why does he leave the faces off?
And he does them with all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Leger.
I think
Is that
says-
to show that like identity is drifting away in society? Or
No, it reminds me of a comic that I saw. It was a Peanuts comic where Linus had painted a girl and her hands were behind her back, and so Lucy said, "Linus, did you paint this because you wanted to show that she was having feelings about not being able to connect to other people or something like that?"
Yeah.
And he says, "No, I painted it like that because I don't know how to make fingers."
Tom, you have something?
Well, there's a here's a
Leger.
a thing where Kostabi is probably talking about his work. I think he might have done it as a signature. I don't know about the it's too long. It's 4 minutes, but you can find it on YouTube. And his paintings sell for 5 figures, so somebody must like those faceless.
Yeah, I mean the faceless
images.
thing doesn't bother. It's very to me. Well, the Leger things are. Yeah, well that's kind of what I'm talking about, the mechanical work stuff. But he also has some people with very, very okay. There's like a mother and child on the first line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about it that see this. It reminds me somehow of this style, this very mechanical.
The shadow. It's the blue shadows. He
cold.
does a lot of things with the shadow.
Yeah, so I just saw that when I don't think I know that artist, that Kassab.
Kastabi. Costabi.
Kastabi. I've never heard of him before. I may
Contemporary.
I may have seen his paintings someplace, but I don't. Do you know if he's got anything hanging in the Albright Knox?
Good question.
Yeah, that is a real good question. I would think by now he does.
I'll have to look next time I'm there.
Now, when you go to the Albright Knox, is there like somebody, like an information desk, you could go ask somebody, say, is there a Costabi in this gallery?
You could probably just ask the people at the desk. They could probably look it up.
Yeah.
They
that
have
would be good.
computers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have
Yes.
computers there.
Does the
Or
Albright
you
Knox
could-
have the
you could
information
Google it.
phone?
Yeah, you could probably Google it. You could ask AI.
Yes, you could.
Yeah,
But they have a private and a public.
Yeah, they
So
do.
you'd have to
they
find
do
out if
have-
it's in the
They don't
public.
hang everything that they have. They have a
Yeah.
lot of
Right.
stuff, and they hang things.
Yeah.
Is that?
Kastabi.
Oh, they do have Costabis there.
Oh, this is at.
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Tom.
Look at that. See,
Yes.
that's a good engineer.
You are actually our producer now.
You're our good engineer, Tom.
He's our producer.
Yeah.
So the thing is that, I like the shadowed one better than I like the other one. I don't know. It's not really my cup of tea.
No.
Oh.
So you won't be bidding on the next auction.
No.
I wonder if there's people who go to those auctions and bid really low, just because they want to be in this crowd of wealthy
yeah.
people.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, you got to go in with the reserve, as they say.
Yeah, they
So
started.
if you don't come in with the lower bid, verified lower bid, just like you could sit there and have some champagne, but we ain't paying no attention to you.
I
I
see.
saw something on Antiques Roadshow yesterday, and oh, it was a watch. They had this whole segment on. No, it was on Good Morning, the Sunday morning show, and they had this watch, and the starting bid was $1 million. So that's where they start. So
$1 million for a watch.
Well, and it went for I don't remember, $16 million or something.
Wow.
It was Paul Newman's Rolex that he wore when he used to race.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, there are people that could save a village, but would rather buy a watch. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's our society.
Yeah.
Our value systems are a little skewed.
In Canada, some elderly woman died, and 3 brothers said, "Well, we got to travel to her house. We got to clean it out. It's our house now, and we got to sell it." So they all went there, and they went in the attic, and they found all this stuff in the attic. She saved everything. They found the first comic book she bought as a present to her son, and somebody said, "This could be valuable. This could be valuable." And he took it to a comic book store who had a very ethical owner, and the owner said, "Well, I could give you $5,000 for this, but I'm not going to do that." He goes, "Why not?" He said, "Because I would rather take 10% and go to a real auction house and put this up for sale."
Yeah.
And the brother said, "Do it." Brought in $5 million.
Wow.
Yes.
That was ethical, but he also made a lot of money on it.
Now, I wouldn't fault him for that.
No, not at all. He could have screwed that. That guy thought $5,000 was a lot of money.
Well, the worst thing he could have done is said, "It's worth a lot. Go figure out a way to sell it."
Yeah.
Or he
how
could
would
have
the guy
given him
know?
the 5,000 and put it up for auction himself and got the 5 million.
Exactly.
Well, that's what unfortunately, that happens more often than than I would like to believe. I don't. Like I said, I live on the planet Paula. We don't do things like that there.
Well, in Italy, there's an interesting story that was in today's news because they have this electronics warehouse website in Italy, and you always go on it and you look for bargains.
Yeah.
And yesterday they said, in celebration of the upcoming Black Friday holiday, you can buy this $1,000 iPad for $17. Only for our loyal customers. So in other words, if you, it's sort of like Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
They have their own Prime version. So if one of the people in their Prime, you can get it for $17. That's to encourage people to join the Prime Club.
Yeah.
So all these people, I'll take it for 17. Well, you know what happened today? Hold on. There was an error. We really weren't. You should have realized it was a ridiculous thing that we put up $17 for a $1,000 pad. So those of you who bought it, we're going to offer you a deal. Number one, if you return it to us, we will give you a $20 gift certificate. On the other hand, if you decide to keep it, well, we'll sell it to you for $800 instead of $1,000.
Oh, that's
But if you
ridiculous.
decide to keep it and do nothing, we're going to involve you in a lawsuit. Don't you think that
don't
they
know how
just
that
shot
works.
themselves in the foot?
I don't know
Yes.
if it's false advertising. Is it?
Yes.
This is in Italy. You
Yeah,
said.
yeah.
Oh, I don't know what their laws are there, but
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it wasn't false advertising. It was mistaken.
Yeah.
But that's not the customer's fault.
no.
Right? You
right.
go to a store and it says $5 and you pay your $5 and somebody comes by and says, no, it's $25. That's not your problem.
Yeah,
You-
that
you
is
have-
right.
You got
That-
retail insurance or whatever.
Well, I have had that happen to me at supermarkets where there has been a sign underneath of some food that I wanted, and I had that in my mind. I knew that's why I was buying it because it was reduced. And when I go to the checkout, they say, "No, this is coming up this price," and I said, "Go check," and they do, and and they give it to me for the price that's underneath. They of course took the sign off after that. Because
Yeah, but you bought based on their promotion of that item. Yeah.
exactly. So
And I'll say this, and I can't name the dealer, but maybe 20, 25 years ago, in an art gallery, local art gallery. In fact, I own the painting now. And someone, I guess, apparently had tried to hide it in some other kinds of things, like maybe they wanted it to come back for a rainy day or something. So I found it wrapped in, those things like an accordion where you flip through canvases. I thought, oh my God, this is fabulous. So I said, I want this. And I told the clerk there where I got it. And she was like, oh, okay. Oh, this is so nice, blah, blah, blah. And so I bought it, paid for it, and I was heading out. And somebody who was more superior than her in the store says, oh, you got the blah, blah, blah. I said, yes, I was so lucky to find it in your discount bin.
Yeah.
The guy turned green, right?
Oh no.
I literally could see him changing. And he said, but that's not the price for that. And I'm like, but that's where I got it. And this is what I paid for it. The lady, she didn't tell me anything different. Because I'm like, now that I know it's valuable and I paid what you paid, I now don't want to part with it. Right?
Yeah.
So what I did was ask them to frame it.
Oh, well,
And I'm sure what he did was, charge me a little bit too much for the frame. Not more than I was going to pay.
yeah.
Right. Because I understood how much a frame would
Oh,
cost.
yeah. Frames are very pricey.
Right. So I said, okay, I'll accept the frame at this price. And I guess he probably said, well, you're paying for 1/8 of the square of that canvas, but okay.
Well, that's good. That's good. I mean, those are
Yeah.
That's very smart on Celeste's part. She made a counter offer.
yeah.
So Trump has made an offer to Ukraine on how to stop the war.
I don't know if I heard of this.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's a
Oh,
20-point plan on how to stop the war.
Okay, I haven't read about it. Go ahead.
And very wisely, Ukraine is saying, "Oh, that's nice. That's nice." And they asked for a meeting with Trump. You know what they're going to do at the meeting? They're going to give their counteroffer.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. They have to, because Zelensky said, first of all, Trump spoke too soon because, they're not being grateful and this and that. And all of Europe is cranky because they said, but this is Russia's piece. This leans heavily. They're putting things in that plan that Russia didn't even ask for, and the United States is giving it to them, right? Mm-hmm. And Zelensky said, we either lose our dignity or lose our ally. So he has to make a counteroffer. He has no choice. The problem is, he's dealing with people who are unscrupulous.
Mm-hmm. So you don't know anything about this peace proposal, do you?
No, I don't.
Well, this is why they have to make a counteroffer. All right? It is so heavily favored toward Russia. It's ridiculous. All right?
Yeah.
Okay, so number one, it benefits Russian and American investors.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's not surprising because the negotiator is Steve Witkoff, who has zero diplomatic skills, but he was appointed because he's a real estate developer who contributed to Trump's campaign.
Oh, I do know about him.
Yes.
So in other words, he's always thinking about opportunities for him and his cronies.
Right.
And the same thing is true of the Russian negotiator. His name is Kanili Dmitriev, all right? Mm-hmm. Who Putin appointed. He's not a diplomat. He's good in making business deals.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Isn't that
trend
interesting?
here. Yeah.
So apparently Putin is telling him, give me the best deals you can negotiate that makes the government look good and makes your investors happy. Okay?
Yes.
So the oligarchs, Putin's got to keep the oligarchs happy.
Yeah.
And furthermore, the last line of the proposal, either agree to it by Thanksgiving or all your support from the United States is going to disappear, which is a real kiss of death to say to somebody, you know?
Right.
I have such a good deal for you, but you got to do it in the next 24 hours.
That's
you know?
when you hang up the phone.
That's right. That's right. So
Yeah.
look at this
Yeah.
now. All these places that Russia managed to conquer in the war, Crimea, Donetsk, and Luhansk, which used to be part of Ukraine,
Right.
Russia now
Yes.
gets those. Okay, and and then there's other areas that Russia says we haven't actually conquered them,
But
but
we want them.
we want to have control over the government in those areas. Well, what's the
Yes.
difference?
Well,
Isn't that kind of a strange thing to ask?
Smokescreen?
what's to stop Putin, who is incredibly untrustworthy, from just invading any more anyway?
Well, that's a very good point, because
Yes.
these areas where Russia says we want to control the government, they are in a bulge headed right to the center of Ukraine. And
Yes.
and the Ukrainians are saying, well, you get that. You know, we're vulnerable.
Yes, because they don't want them to join NATO. Zelensky wants to join NATO.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's another
And-
point. And Ukraine
Yes.
cannot join NATO.
And what about the fact that that Polish railroad got bombed, and that is a NATO country? So
Yes.
what's going to happen now? They're saying, I mean, it had to be the Russians. Who else would it have been?
Yeah. Well, ever since, in my opinion anyway, but according to reports, KGB guy Putin has wanted to reestablish, he couldn't take the dissolution of the USSR into
Absolutely.
Russia. And so he's kind of made it his life work to try to reestablish that. And this is his way of doing it, or trying to do it, at least anyway.
Yeah, he wants the old Russia back.
He wants the old USSR back.
Yeah.
And I don't know too much about Zelensky. I mean, what I know about him, I appreciate his efforts. And I would just have to say, look, dude, I can't do this. And maybe I have to, odds on with China or somebody, because you're not working out for me. And I don't think we should underestimate the aspirations of China.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We got a big
that
mess
might
out
be
there.
what I would do. I mean, look at the mess Gaza made. And they did all this meeting and came up with that 20 points without even Ukraine being involved. They weren't even at the table.
No, yes, I did know that. That I heard. That there was, but I hadn't read what the 20 points were. All I knew was that Zelensky wasn't invited.
No, and Trump didn't even know what all the 20 points were. Somebody told him, because one of the reporters asked him, and he said, I'll talk to these guys. Right?
Yeah, he doesn't. If he doesn't know, he doesn't have the grace to say, "I don't know."
No, he won't
Yeah,
say.
yeah, he'll just talk all around it until
I don't know.
until they give up.
Well, the latest
he'll call them
hair-raising
names.
thing
Yeah.
that happened today too was, and I thought, the administration assault on women, it just keeps growing and growing and growing. They have now, Department of Education, downgraded the status of degrees in physician's assistant,
Oh, and nursing. I did hear about that.
registered nurses, nurse practitioners. And I'm thinking, why are they doing that? And then I realized those jobs are filled anywhere 60 to 80% women.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, the doctor, the lawyer, all the rest of that stays. And this is just more making it harder for women to be in the workplace.
I was in the emergency room today, and somebody was talking about that. I overheard a conversation with two nurses about how just what a slap in the face that is to the nursing profession. It was.
Yeah, because a physician's assistant and a nurse practitioner,
They can.
they can do what a doctor does to a limited, extent.
Right.
I mean, they're not going to be surgeons, but any doctor will tell you, if I have a problem, I'm going to look for the nurse that's been there the longest, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're gonna be able to tell me, or they call a nurse in to do something. But nowadays, a lot of times, instead of seeing the doctor, you will see a physician's assistant or a nurse practitioner.
Very, very rarely
Yes.
do I see an actual doctor. When I had my shoulder surgery, when I was going to be released for the last time, I saw the doctor. And the first time when they told me I needed surgery, and then the last time. But in between, they were all nurse practitioners. And
Yeah.
and I had a nurse practitioner today look at me in the emergency room, and she was very efficient. She really knew her stuff. She told me exactly where that psoas. There's another word that goes with the psoas, and it begins with an L, I think. And she showed me exactly where to. She traced it on her body where it goes to, and told me, but she was very knowledgeable, and I really appreciated her.
Yeah.
Yeah, for my wellness visit, I always schedule it with the assistant, never with the doctor.
What's wrong with the doctor? No bedside manner?
Always in a hurry.
Oh, I know. I don't like that either.
Whereas the assistant will stay with me for like 45 minutes if I want. Is there anything else that you have questions about?
Yeah, and answering questions and not acting like you're wasting their time.
Good point. A feeling I often get from the doctor.
Yeah. Yes.
I got real sick people. You expect me to spend time with you?
Yeah, because they see. I mean, honestly, being a doctor. That's all you see. I mean, Jason says it sometimes. It's like it's you see so much that your problem isn't so great. I've seen all this.
Yeah.
But you have to remember that's a person, and that person's concerned.
Sure.
Because it's their life.
Yeah.
Well, and that was, I think, I could be wrong, part of the raison d'etre for creating physician's assistants and nurse practitioners. It needed to have that extra layer of patient care.
Yeah, it could be. And and traditionally nurses are just more caring.
Yeah, I mean, and so they feminize the profession by downgrading it because, like I said, 60 to 80% of those positions are by women, instead of appreciating the fact they have to go to med school, they have to be licensed, they have to pass. You know what I'm saying? They have criteria to meet. But if we look at how this administration looks at the role of women, it's like, we got to get them girls back in the kitchen. I don't care how we do it.
Yeah. Well, guess what? The way our economy is, even if a woman wants to stay home, she can't, because you need two incomes to run a house now. You cannot run a house on one income anymore and have one of those people stay home. And the cost of childcare is atrocious. It's ridiculous.
It's dangerous. It's so high.
You're not even getting ahead. All you're doing is giving yourself an out from the house. That's all you're doing. And before World War I, secretary, and I've said this before on the show, and I will harp on it until the day I die. Before World War I, secretary jobs were done by men. Women were not deemed smart enough to do that kind of work, to be an assistant to an executive. Women were not smart enough, and they were too emotional. And then when World War I came along and they needed people to be secretaries, and they were women, now all of a sudden it's a joke to be a secretary.
Yeah.
After
and even go back even further. When you think about Victorian England and in Europe, men were the secretaries.
Yes, secretaries, clerks, all of the office positions were taken by men, and they were considered. They were not prestigious like being the company CEO, but they were honorable jobs. And as soon as women took them over, they found a way to make them cheap. They're cheap jobs. Secretaries are not. And the only thing that the secretary is the gatekeeper. If you're not nice to the secretary, you're not going to ever talk to that boss.
No, and you know what? They're privy to inside information.
Absolutely.
I mean, I worked years as a secretary for the orchestra, and I knew things a whole lot of people didn't know. My job was to do my job and just do it, and be
Yeah.
able to navigate
Well,
that. And
and
I learned quite a bit.
I did support staff for a long time, and I'll tell you,
Yes.
who writes the letters, who is the one who keeps track of everything, who's the one who
Yes.
hands out petty cash, who's the one
Yes.
who keeps track of all those things, who's the every time it's the
Yes.
secretary, and yet
Every time.
because it's done by women, it's demeaned.
Yeah. Well, nowadays, some of the executive secretaries, now that we have, professional associations over the last, I don't know, I want to say maybe 20 years, they can be high demand now.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen, with AI and this kind of thing, but a really good CEO and a really good, even mid-top vice president has to have somebody keeping track.
Yeah.
And those
It's
people
the job.
realize
It's
how
the
important they
organizer.
are.
You're the
Yeah.
organizer. You know where everything
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And-
So
and-
you're not gonna accept minimum wage, and they don't dare pay it.
Yeah.
You-
Well, yeah, and I mean, and it can be very if you like the person you're working with, it can be very enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was an attorney named Bernie Hampshire, and we were selling our service to him. And we sat down with him in his office.
Yeah.
And we said, it'll save your office a lot of money because we'll do a lot of things at the courthouse so you don't have to go. You can concentrate on the things that you do, like go to court. And he said something we thought was humorous at the time, but it ties into what you're saying now. He said, well, you really shouldn't be talking to me. Talk to my secretary, Missy. She runs the office. Essentially, I just work for her.
There you go.
Excuse me.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
Bless you.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is interesting.
Yes.
She sets up what he needs to do that day.
Yeah.
And even when I worked for the state, when I went over to the Ellicott Square building with this, I was a clerk typist when I started with the state, and I worked for 3 different counselors at Vesett, and I liked all 3 of them, but for different reasons. And I had a chance to go over to the Ellicott Square building with one of them, my least favorite, because he was very disorganized. So I went with him, and I knew when I went with him that I would be doing all of his work
Yeah.
because he just didn't have the capacity for it.
Yep.
So, but I was still support staff. But my boss in Syracuse and my boss in Albany, they both knew that I was doing his work.
Yeah.
But they, I was getting paid as a support staff person, which was fine.
And when Woodrow Wilson, the president, got a stroke, his wife ran the country.
Oh, I know. I've heard
Yes.
about that. That was an interesting period of history. So she was the first female president.
Yes.
Good
For all
point.
intents and purposes, yes.
So we should not fear this now. We've already done it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, but they're really trying to take the slow road backwards, with that. And I'm just so angry about it in so many different ways. I think about my niece who really buckled down and worked and went through nursing school, got her degree, got her certification license as a registered nurse. And now you want to downgrade the profession for all of them?
What are they saying it is? That it's no longer? Yeah, they were saying it's not professional. It's no longer considered a professional.
They're reducing the status, and it has to do with money, making it even more difficult for women to go. So if you are a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, you can borrow up to $200,000 towards your education. If you want to be this less professional, because up until that point, they had the same borrow power, right?
Yeah.
So now, if you want to be one of these other professions, you access is only 100,000. So the question will be: so where are you going to get the rest of the money to pay for your education?
Strip clubs, I guess.
I'm
working my way through college.
So I mean that in and of itself is just so it's it's just disgusting and cruel.
Well, I mean, all right. The one thing that I found really obnoxious, I mean, beyond his normal obnoxiousness, is "Shut Up, Piggy."
What the hecky was that all about?
They showed somebody posted a picture of I think it was
ABC.
no, somebody. What the heck is Renee Saraki's brother, Ernie Saraki, posted a picture on Facebook of this girl that he called a name. I mean, she was a young girl. She probably was flabbergasted.
Yeah.
I mean, she probably was stopped. You know that feeling, Celeste. You know, as a woman, you know that feeling when somebody says something like that, and you can't even respond because you just get the ick all over.
Yeah.
And you just feel so detached, or not detached, but you feel like nothing. You feel like you're nothing. All of a sudden, it's just, and I wish she could have said something back to him. Look,
Was
who's
she a
talking,
reporter,
fatso.
or what was she?
She was a reporter. Look who's talking, fatso. I think that
I
would have
thought
been
of the same
great.
thing.
Yeah, because I would have said something probably.
But she was
you
young.
have that knee-jerk response.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when you're that young, it's probably difficult. I mean, because somebody says that back to me now, you're going to be sorry about what I
you're
say
going to be
back.
very sorry. I know that's the best. One of the best things about getting older is that you don't care what people think anymore when you say something. You're
Sure.
not intimidated by people.
No,
You
no.
have got nothing on me, baby.
Yeah, that really is it. I said, you don't want me to answer you, okay?
Yeah. So I just felt really bad for her because as a woman who was once young, I know
Yeah.
what that must have felt like. That must have felt
Yeah.
very painful and very jarring.
Probably jarring. And I think the thing that was probably helpful to her is I'm sure her colleagues came to her support because they were all probably not stunned because, every kind of trash comes out of that mouth, but certainly wanting to,
I don't know how much was said after that. I didn't see anything else after that comment. And he was getting on a plane or something. So, he was pushing everyone away.
So her other,
What about the justification that the press secretary gave?
That it
another
was,
pageant girl?
Oh, she said it shows how honest he is. It shows he shoots from the hip. He's honest, and we should appreciate the fact that he is so honest. And she even used a word like honorable or something because
she sounds like a Stepford doll.
Yeah,
she has like an IQ of 12, and she's programmed.
How could she be that dumb? I mean,
See, a reporter could have, when she said that, asked, "Oh, can we be honest with you in that way?"
well,
Yeah.
then
They'll send the mob squad after you or something.
He criticizes people right then and there, and he says, you're a bad reporter because you asked me a question I don't want to answer. Why aren't you asking me why the country is doing so well?
Because we're not. Well, and look, he drove Marjorie Taylor Greene out.
Yeah, well, you know what? I got to say,
Isn't there a strategy behind her decision? She's not saying, "I'm never going to return to politics."
No, she's not. But
No.
do you think she, I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if she showed up as a Democrat.
I was thinking that. I said she might stroll into the lane of the independent. I don't know about Democrat, but she might stroll into the lane of the independent because
It's all of a sudden her eyes are open. Something happened,
Yeah, her family, her constituents and her family, and she was fearless. And I think for him to turn on her like that was like an oops factor.
Yeah. Well,
big.
we're have half a minute left. This was a very fast show, in my opinion. I was going to read something out of my old journal from 1999, but we didn't get to it, and that's okay because it wasn't as interesting as the show.
Well, let me say happy Thanksgiving. I love you guys. I hope you have a great
we love
holiday.
you too, and yes, you too. Have a nice time. Are you going to spend it with your family?
Yes.
Good for you.
Well, the
Yeah.
ones that are here.
Yes.
You know, got ones that are away.
That's
but yeah.
that's great. Okay, thank you, Celeste, for showing up. Thank you, Tom, for being our producer, and thank you, Richard, for making this possible.
Yes.
Okay.